Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: people who take out their phones to record strangers who are having bad days. Why? I would also love to know. I'm a dwarf and I get random strangers filming me and taking photos all the fucking time. Whether I'm having a bad day or not, they are guaranteed to turn it into a bad day. Edit: since this is getting a lot of attention, thought I'd share an interview with Eugene Grant, a columnist for The Independent who, like me, has achondroplasia and lives in the UK. It also shows some footage he took of assholes who pull this shit. https://bbc.co.uk/news/av/uk-453607883. I've had random people take pics of me and I worry I'm going to end up being the next meme or something. My friend has shown me pictures of myself on their Instagram feed because I have an afro. Everyone thinks I put a ton of effort into it when in reality I'm too lazy to cut my hair a regular number of times a year. I'm freakishly tall and get it from the other side. 6'10", lots of do you play basketball? No bitch, I'm just black and tall. I play Dungeons and Dragons and listen to metal. Fuck off. My favorite response to this is no, do you play mini golf? I'm a 6 woman and I used to get do you play basketball all the time too. So much that my mom signed me up for the school basketball team when I was in middle school. They benched me pretty quickly after realizing that the only thing I could do on the court was trip over my own feet. Now I also play Dungeons and Dragons and listen to metal. One time we were driving through a neighborhood to get to my brother's, and this car was sitting in the center of the street. We stopped for a bit and they didn't move, so we slowly went around them. Nothing aggressive, we gave them time to go but they just sat there. 2 cars behind us did the same. Well, that must have pissed them off because they followed us and chewed out my husband and their reasoning didn't really make sense. I noticed his girl was filming. She probably thought my husband, a big white dude, was going to be aggressive to them. Instead he just told them they were in the middle of the road and to have a nice day. The guy kept going but we kept telling them to have a nice day and waited for them to leave. My husband was pissed but I told him he reacted the right way because they wanted to catch something on film and didn't. Imagine being so shitty that you try and bait strangers into a lawsuit. Have you seen those Russian scam videos where people will literally throw themselves at cars and their friend will come out of nowhere and claim witness? People are really only thinking about themselves. One time I actually went verbally abusive towards my neighbor for this. My fiancé is an epileptic. His seizures can be life-threatening as they sometimes stop his heart. One evening last year he had one of those and I had to perform CPR. I obviously simultaneously called an ambulance and they came shortly after, leaving the lights on because they had to park in the middle of the street. Now after a seizure, my fiancé is very disoriented. He doesn't know where he is, who anyone else is. It sometimes differs, but it's always bad. On this particular day, he remembered me and took to me for help in his confusion. He couldn't feel his legs, he didn't know what was happening, he didn't realize he only had his underpants on. We had gone to sleep about an hour before and it was a very hot day. He was bleeding from his mouth because he had bitten a tiny bit of his tongue off and his chest was red from me hitting it during CPR. He looked awful. When the paramedics and I helped him outside to bring him to the ambulance, he wasn't able to put any clothes on due to his disorientation and would shrug any blanket off because it was too hot. The neighbor, alerted by the siren and lights of the ambulance, was standing outside his house, beer in hand, filming us. I helped put my fiancé into the ambulance and went to grab a bag of stuff for the hospital. My fiancé cried out for me like a lost child since I was the only person he recognized. It was heartbreaking. And my asshole of a neighbor filmed it all while laughing his drunken ass off. I went over, yelled at him in very explicit language and demanded he delete the video. He just laughed at me. Well, joke was on him. I called the cops and they took the phone. He got to pay a fine for filming a person without permission, illegal in Germany, and has now orders to stay away from us. I still wonder what he thought while doing this. Or if he thought STH at all. Just to add on to this, as I'm German myself. The reason why they could prosecute this guy is cause he filmed someone on private property. There is of course a difference if you film someone in a public place. But generally speaking you can't go filming anyone on private property. In this case, it would also be forbidden to film in public. See https://guides/photography-laws-Germany. Especially the ones that use filming you as a threat. I was just doing my job one day when this customer got extremely upset because she was getting her own way and got her phone out and stuck it in my face and started filming. I really wanted to grab it out of her hand and launch it as far as I could, but luckily I did take the bait and kept my job. I had a similar experience at my old job. Guy came in asking for a product and explicitly told me he intended to use it for felonious reasons, and by company policy, I had to tell him that I could not sell him the item, and that's when he started yelling at me, trying to get me agitated, whipping out his phone and yelling, "You're going on live. Shit sucks and you gotta go through that just cause you're trying not to lose a job that doesn't pay enough in the first place. Why the hell would you tell someone you are buying something to use illegally? That's just plain stupid." When I did first aid at my last job, the asshole who pulled out their phone to start filming was the person who was designated to call 911 and go wait for the ambulance. I would usually take the phone from them and dial 911 on speaker and hand it back to them so I could talk, then go, "Okay, now go wait for the ambulance and bring the paramedics here." They were usually so unbalanced that I grabbed their phone, they didn't have a chance to object. So, now I have someone taking care of the paramedics and the asshole filming is gone. Don't be that guy, nobody respects you. Genius level move right here. Outstanding move. I had to be wheeled out on a stretcher recently from the grocery store and people everywhere were filming me. Like, why? What does having a video of some random chick on her way to the ambulance do for you? Do your social media friends really care? I guess it's like an impulse for people now, but I was so weirded out by it. I can't imagine filming someone in medical distress. It seems like such an alien, sociopathic impulse to me. Me and my friend were wearing our bathing suits at a water park and one of the staff members was taking video of us. So, I went up to him and freaked out, demanding he show me. He delete it. We were like 14 at the time and he was probably like 50. Now that I'm older and wiser, I should have reported him to the water park. Forget the water park, you should have reported him to the police. There's only one thing a man that age is going to do with a video of a girl that age, and we all know what it is. No, I absolutely should have. We were in a different country though and I was young and stupid. I didn't know what to do. There was this really bad accident one town over where this dude from out of town ran past a stop sign and slammed into a van full of 3 or 4 children, the mother and the father. Some weren't wearing seat belts. The father and son in the van survived with some injuries. The mother had a brain injury. 3 children died, 1 was unborn. The father recorded video after video about the event that happened. He documented every painful thing that happened to help him cope with what happened. He shared it all to Facebook to reach out to the community for help. This is all fine, but this man's wife had just lost 2 babies, and her unborn baby. She was in a coma, unlikely to wake up. In a turn of events, the wife woke up and began to rally. This is where I became grossed out. Shortly after she woke from her coma, the husband pulls out his phone and records himself telling his wife that they lost 3 of their children. He puts the phone in her face rather than console her. Then, he posted it online for the hundreds and hundreds of people following the event on Facebook. This woman just got out of a coma, and just received the worst news of her life, and this man put it online for the world to see. Absolutely disgusting. The wife died later on too. Terrible situation. I can't claim to know what I would do if it were me, but it was awful to see. I can't help but think about his surviving kid. Does he know what his dad is doing? Is he going to grow up only to find this awful footage? Are people going to constantly bring this up later in his life? Are you sure the father also didn't suffer brain injuries? I did it once when I saw a lady slapping the shit out of her boyfriend in public. I was only taking photos while having a stroll when it happened, and I thought that the cops would be right along. She eventually stormed off. He noticed me and started screaming at me to delete the video. I explained that it was evidence that he didn't start or participate in the fight, and he calmed down. Cops never came, we went our separate ways, and I deleted the video. I would have done it for anyone, no matter who. I don't even think about uploading it for people to snicker at public freakouts. I witnessed an assault once in broad daylight and managed to record the perp's face at the end. Gave it to the cops after the ambulance arrived. It was just my gut instinct. There's no way they're getting away with that. The victim needed reconstructive surgery. That may be the only acceptable reason. If I ever recorded anything in public, it would be if something went off the rails and I wanted evidence of someone going postal. Because likes and views fill the void in insecure people. Very conflicted right now to upvote this to the top. It could be worse. At least he is not Steven 7.